Hello and welcome back to DevPulse, your weekly dose of the news from the game dev world. This week, we're gonna look at a $3 billion market crash inside Counter-Strike 2, Battlefield 6's first season rollout, some big new releases like The Outer Worlds 2, Arc Raiders, and Ninja Gaiden 4. Plus, we'll take a look at what's working and what's not inside the industry right now. Let's dive in. This week, Counter-Strike traders woke up to a nightmare. Valve pushed an update expanding trade-up options, basically letting players combine lower-tier skins to roll for higher-tier ones, including knives and gloves. That sounds like a cool feature until you realize what it did to the market. Within 48 hours, prices for rare items plummeted, and analysts estimate over $2 to $3 billion in market value evaporated. The reason? Supply shock. Suddenly, everyone could convert stacks of cheap skins into high-tier chances, flooding the market with knives and gloves that used to be borderline mythical. Traders on Reddit and Discord were in panic mode, screenshots of inventories showing six-figure drops in portfolio value overnight. Price tracking sites like Price Empire and Skinport showed legendary knives losing 60 to 70% of their listed price. Valve hasn't commented publicly, but some suspect this is part of a larger push to normalize the market and make cosmetic rewards more accessible. Still, when a single patch wipes out $1 billion grey economy, that's not just a gaming story, that's an economic event. And it's one that raises a new question for developers. How much responsibility do studios have over secondary economies built on their own games? Moving on to Battlefield 6, which officially rolled out Season 1 this week alongside update 1.1.1.0. After months of waiting, players finally got new content, a balance pass, and a bunch of long-requested quality of life updates. The patch includes tweaks to weapon dispersion, movement feel, and challenge XP systems. EA also promised improved visuals, audio fixes, and a smoother experience across maps that previously felt inconsistent. Sounds good, and to be fair, a lot of players are saying the game feels better overall. But this is Battlefield, and with every patch comes a new wave of frustration. Many community threads highlight exploit issues with XP farms, broken progression, and uneven matchmaking. Others argue that while the polish is welcome, it doesn't fix deeper problems like inconsistent map flow or lack of truly new content. However, it's a step forward. It's not just the big redemption arc fans were hoping for, at least not yet. If EA wants to keep players engaged, Season 2 will need more than polish, it'll need momentum. Next up, Arc Raiders, the long-anticipated extraction shooter from Embark Studios. After multiple delays and a long radio silence, the game finally hit servers with a staged global rollout, what the team called a server slam. Different regions from the US to Europe and Australia came online at different hours to avoid congestion, which honestly was a smart move. Early impressions? Mixed but curious. Players are praising the aesthetic, the retro-futuristic vibe Embark is known for, and the hybrid PvE-PvP design feels refreshing compared to the endless Battle Royale clones. But the core question remains, can it last? Extraction games live or die based on progression loops and post-launch support, and that's where even good ideas sometimes fade fast. Still, for a new IP, Arc Raiders might finally be the shot of energy live service shooters need. It's back! After years of rumors, Ninja Gaiden 4 is here and it's everything fans expected, for better and for worse. Developed by Team Ninja with support from Platinum Games, the new entry blends ultra-fast combat with cinematic flair. The marketing campaign went all in, including a real-life stunt involving a helicopter and a Guinness World Record for highest altitude katana demo. Reviews are mostly positive. Critics love the combat fidelity, precise parries, buttery-smooth animations, and that satisfying brutality the series is known for. But there's also criticism. Some reviewers say the difficulty spikes feel unfair, and a few mechanics haven't evolved much since the Xbox 360 era. After years of silence, fans finally have their Ninja Gaiden fix, and it's one of the most stylish action games of the year. Now, let's talk about a game that's getting actual universal praise, The Outer Worlds 2. Obsidian finally dropped a sequel this week, and the response has been glowing. reviews are sitting in the mid-80s on Metacritic, and players are calling it a true evolution of the original. The sequel expands everything: bigger maps, deeper companions, smarter combat, and a tone that feels more balanced between satire and sincerity. Obsidian's signature writing shines again, the corporate dystopia humor is still there, but now there's emotional weight behind your choices. The branching quest design, classic Obsidian, gives you that feeling of real agency we've been missing in most AAA RPGs lately. It's a quiet success story in a year full of noisy launches. No microtransaction controversy, no broken launch, just a solid, well-made game that reminds everyone why Obsidian is still one of the best storytellers in the business. So what's the bigger picture behind all this? The end of October is proving how volatile and unpredictable the modern games industry has become. On one hand, we've got blockbuster single-player titles like Outer Worlds 2 winning over critics, showing that story-driven games can still thrive. On the other, live service games like Battlefield 6 and Ark Raiders are still fighting to prove they can hold players beyond the launch weekend. And then there's the Counter-Strike skin market collapse, a stark reminder that digital economies aren't just fun collectibles. They're a real financial ecosystem capable of creating and erasing billions of dollars overnight, based on one line of code. Meanwhile, across studios, analysts note a continued slowdown in mid-tier game budgets. The AA gap between indies and blockbusters is widening again. That's making it harder for experimental studios to survive unless they have publisher backing or Game Pass deals. But there's also good news. PC player counts are up, hardware availability is finally stable, and even indie events like Steam Next Fest pulled record demo download this month. So, despite the chaos, the energy is high and the audience is hungry. Let's talk about the two stories everyone's debating right now: one game, one rumor. First up, Dispatch, the surprise indie hit that's got developers and players equally fascinated. It's a small-scale, narrative game set entirely inside a police dispatch center, where you respond to emergency calls in real time. Sounds simple, but what's blowing people's minds is how reactive the dialogue system is. No two playthroughs are alike. It's giving major Papers, Please meets Firewatch energy, and some people are calling it the most immersive narrative experiment since Telltale's The Walking Dead. But it's not all praise. A few critics are raising concerns about the potential of using AI-assisted voice work and whether it's setting a dangerous precedent for replacing human performance. Either way, Dispatch has become the unexpected conversation piece of the month, the kind of game that reminds you how far storytelling tools have come. And speaking of stories that won't die, let's talk about Halo on PlayStation. Rumors exploded this week after several data miners spotted references to PSN connectivity inside the Halo Infinite build pipeline. Nothing official, but the timing's interesting. Microsoft's been openly experimenting with multi-platform releases, and after Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush landed on PS5, the idea doesn't sound impossible anymore. If Master Chief really does show up on a Sony console, it would mark one of the biggest symbolic shifts in modern gaming, the wall between platforms finally cracking for good. Right now, it's just whispers, but the fact that nobody's denying it might be the most telling part. So what to watch next week? Ark Raiders will likely patch fast-paced on launch feedback. Keep an eye on its first balance update. Valve's response, if any, to the skin market crash could shape how traders value cosmetics going forward. Battlefield 6 will see community events for Season 1 in early November, maybe a good chance for EA to turn sentiment around. And we might get the new teasers for December showcases. Rumors are swirling about Elden Ring DLC news and PlayStation's winter reveal lineup. Alright, that's it for this week's DevPulse. If you found this helpful, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more news from the game dev world. See ya!